All right, thank you everyone for being here today. I'd like to also acknowledge we have our chair of the bowl, Rita Lohman, is here somewhere. So there you go, Rita, thanks for being here. Just want to go over a couple of quick things, and then we're going to ask each coach to make an opening statement, and then we'll open up for questions, in which case I'll let you know what order we're going to go in there, okay? So get everything done today so that we can get through everything that the coaches and the teams have to get prepared for Saturday. Just real quickly, this is the 36th Outback Bowl. We're very proud to have a very long standing tradition with the Big Ten SEC to put together matchups that are just incredible year after year. And many, many times we were fortunate enough to have matchups of teams that have never played each other. In over 100 years of football, these two teams have never faced on the gridiron. And that's a special thing that we enjoy many times throughout the years. And we're excited to see these two teams square off on New Year's Day. Very excited. Speaking of New Year's Day, as you can see, the weather has been fantastic all week long. It's expected to be the same all the way through game day. Saturday, right now, 0% chance of rain, sunny, 80 degrees as a high. So it's going to be a great time. Make sure you bring your sunscreen. Kick time is 12:05. We're going to be on ESPN2, and we're looking forward to a terrific matchup. I'm going to start as the designated home team, Arkansas. Coach Pittman, I'll ask you to make some opening comments about where things are right now and how your week's gone so far. And then we'll turn it over to Coach Franklin for comments, and then we'll open it up to questions. All right. So, Coach Pittman.
Well, thank you, everybody. We're very excited to be here. We've had a good week, a lot of activities for the kids. Certainly trying to stay away from COVID as best we can. I want everybody to know I have such a great respect for Coach Franklin, and he and I have had some really good conversations over the last two times we were able to get together, and I have great respect for Penn State University. We've been practicing at the University of Tampa, and it's very close to our hotel. The facilities are wonderful. We've gone through 3 practices thus far. We have one tomorrow morning, and then obviously we'll go to the stadium to do our subscript and walk on Friday before the game. We're excited to play Penn State, and very honored to be a part of the Outback Bowl.
Coach Franklin.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank the Outback Bowl. Obviously, a tremendous opportunity to play in a historical bowl game in a great location. We appreciate the weather, very similar to Happy Valley, so appreciate that. I got tremendous respect for the University of Arkansas. Obviously, I've been fortunate enough to be a head football coach in both the SEC and the Big Ten. So I think I got pretty good perspective on that. And I've known Coach Pittman really kind of from afar and his reputation. One of our guys that was on our staff last year, Dow, is now on their staff. So I've gotten some really good insight. And I've heard just nothing but great things. We had an opportunity at the bowling event the other night to really kind of sit there and talk, me, Coach Pittman, and his wife, and just really enjoyed it. Coach Pittman's doing it the right way. There's a lot of excitement at the University of Arkansas right now, which what he's been able to do. I think he's a great fit for the university. And more than that, I think he's a great guy, a regular guy that you can have really good conversation. We were able to bounce things off each other. Really, obviously, not a whole lot about this bowl game, but just things that head coaches, can talk about that you can't really talk to a lot of other people about. And also, our concerns about, some of the things that are going on in college football and college athletics right now. So some really good discussions. I look forward to continuing building our relationship and stay in touch with each other after the bowl. Again, got tremendous respect for the University of Arkansas. I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great opportunity for both of us to go out and finish our seasons the way we want to, and hopefully, put a product on the field that the Outback Bowl and Penn State alums and Arkansas alums can all be proud of. So appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, open up for questions right over here.
For both coaches, Coach Franklin, you first. The American Underdog movie came out, and Zachary Levi did a great job of playing Kurt Warner. When they filmed the James Franklin story and the Sam Pittman story, who do you want to be the actor that plays you? I'm thinking The Rock was the physique and the hairstyle.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, it's either going to be The Rock or Denzel Washington, obviously.
Okay, obviously.
Yeah, one of those
I like
two.
that answer.
But I'm glad you kind of gave me reference because I didn't know what you were talking about when you first started talking. But yeah, probably The Rock. Similar body type, charisma, similar.
Coach, I have that problem. Coach Pittman, I'm thinking Tommy Lee Jones. Who do you think?
Well, I'm thinking Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's older, more mature, got a lot of gray like I do, so I don't know. I think he's made a lot of money. That's who I'd like to represent me.
We got right here, down front, right you.
Take a bunch of softball questions like that.
Yes,
Right there.
we stay here all day.
Okay, thank you for calling me. I think Coach Franklin, in breaking down the Arkansas offense, what do you make of their balance, their run-pass balance? What do you see from it?
I think it starts with their quarterback, right? Big, physical, mature guy. I think they do a really nice job of, obviously not only from a tempo standpoint, but to me it starts and ends with the running game. I know you talk about balance, but I think it's obvious that they want to run the ball. Obviously having a head coach who's got an offensive line background, and those guys usually pride themselves with that. I think his personality and identity shows up on the offensive side of the ball. And then I think they do enough of the things to keep you honest. The play action passes and the RPOs off of it, that can be challenging. Also some of the tricks and gimmick plays. And then I think the other thing is, I think when you have that type of quarterback, you got to manage it during the season. But when you get to the bowl game, and this is the last game of the year, we're expecting them to run that 245-pound quarterback a bunch. So we got to be prepared for that. It's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. I think their offensive coordinator does a good job, keeping you on your heels and off balance as much as possible. And they've had the personnel to be able to do it. But I think it really starts and ends with their quarterback.
Right here in the middle.
Sam, question for you. What can you say about Kendall Briles and his development of KJ Jefferson this season?
I think Kendall's done a nice job. I went back to Felipe Franks from last year. I think, obviously Felipe played a lot of ball, but for him, he had never been in that system. So I think Briles is a really good teacher, really good communicator. Certainly KJ has gotten better throughout this year with his throwing ability and the long ball. He's gotten better there. You guys remember we opened up scrimmages last year in the spring simply because I felt like we needed to put pressure on him with people in the stands to perform, him and Malik for that matter. But I think Kendall's done a really nice job, and I believe, like Coach said, I believe he's a good play caller.
Right back here, Stephen.
Hi, James. I wanted to ask you how challenging it's been to get your team ready a team like Arkansas with the number of opt-outs that you've had, very talented players, and also who are some of the younger players maybe you've seen some growth from since the end of the regular season that you feel confident about maybe playing bigger roles, especially on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that me and Coach were talking about, the other day. I've been a head coach now. I've been fortunate enough to be a head coach for 12 years. Have never had an opt-out in all of my 12 years. They've had a little bit of it. We've had more, and it's challenging. What I would say is I'm focused on the guys that are in our locker room. That doesn't mean that I'm not happy and excited and supportive of the guys that are not, but I'm excited about the guys that are in our locker room, and I'm excited about the guys that are going to have bigger roles. I think we all know the last 2 years of college football have been different and have been challenging. Obviously, not only what's really happened nationally, but also conference to conference. This was handled differently on every single conference. Our season was canceled and then restarted again. It's been a challenging 2 years. I think back earlier in the season to our Rutgers game, and we got hit with the flu, and we didn't have a scholarship quarterback available on Friday. So there's been a lot of challenges, but at the end of the day, the reality is you got to find a way to get it done. As one door closes, another door opens, and it's an opportunity for another player. And I think it's also going to give us a really good kind of picture of what our future is going to be. It's going to be guys that are going to get a bunch of reps in this game that maybe hadn't in throughout the season. So there's some challenges, no doubt about it. Our guys are excited. And I think there's also some tremendous leaders that are out there that we're dependent on and are going to need to step up for us. There's no doubt about it.
Did you ever cross into one of these to not like?
Well, what I would say is we discussed what we think is going on a bunch in college football. And I think, I'll speak for myself. We've never seen this in college football, right? We've never seen people, not playing. It happened a little bit last year. We thought we were done with it. It's happening again this year. I don't really kind of want to get into it because I can't really speak for other people and what they are doing. For us, we want to play, and we want to represent the Outback Bowl the right way. We want to represent Penn State the right way. Are there challenges? Probably more challenges than there's ever been before in college football, yes. But we're excited about representing the Big Ten the right way. We want to represent Penn State the right way, and we're very blessed and fortunate to be here in the Outback Bowl, and we're gonna take it as a blessing and take advantage of the opportunity.
Well, I think it says a lot about Penn State and Coach Franklin. I mean, he's had several guys, and if you look at it, and if we played in a regular season, the teams would be different. I mean, they're just different because we've had a couple of NFL leaving for the NFL. He's had several over there, and at Penn State, and the teams are different. I mean, that's just what it is, and so once you wrap your mind around that you're going to field a different football team, and you're going to probably find some surprises both ways from who's out there. But we have 120 on our team, and the other 115 or 110 that are left right now, they deserve the opportunity to play. And I don't think either one of us, and I don't want to speak for Coach, are looking for a way out. We're looking for a way in. And I think that's what Coach did, and I know that's what we did as well.
Back here.
James, could Olu, do you think he'd be capable and ready to be a left tackle to start if need be this game?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Olu, could you be capable, ready to start at left tackle if need be in this game?
Yeah, he better be, right? Yeah. He was going to start earlier in the year and had an injury and was unable to start. And that's when Landon went in and started and played really well as a true freshman. But we've been preparing and planning, and like I said, Olu was going to start during the year. And now we're in a position, obviously, that, he's going to do it on Saturday, and we have a lot of faith and confidence in him. So it's going to be exciting to watch him go out and play. He's had a really good week of practice.
Right over here, front row.
Both of you, do you think it's important when Big Ten and SEC teams play each other? Obviously, Penn State played all four earlier this year.
Do I think it's important when Big Ten and SEC teams play each other?
Yeah, good for college football.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, two great conferences.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you mentioned, we played Auburn earlier in the year. It's kind of unusual. I think when we played Auburn, if I'm correct, it was the first time we'd ever played. I think first time there had ever been really, I think, a Big Ten SEC matchup during regular season, or some crazy stat like that there was. And then obviously playing Arkansas right now. There's not too many things left in 2021 that you can say has never happened before. So it's a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's big for the teams, the players, and obviously the fans. I think it's good for both those.
Right here.
Coach Pittman, Grant talked a lot yesterday about Penn State's tight ends and how they use them not being different than any other team in State. Do you agree with that? And how would you kind of evaluate the tight ends and Penn State's offense?
Well, they're talented. I mean, Penn State has a big, thick running back as well, and so Lee, I believe, Lee,
Yep.
and he's a good player, a big, good player. And then off of that, they run a little play action, and then coming off to the tight ends, and those guys are really good blockers. They're good catchers. They're very talented. But I think if Grant's saying that, we've emphasized that, that they're very talented players, and we have to know where they're at and how to defend them.
Yeah, right here.
For both coaches, Coach Pittman first, you're both at schools you idolized growing up. What's it like now coaching, not just being the tradition, but creating more tradition at a place you're really a part of?
Yeah, for me, I can explain it in, when we're coming in on the bus to the home games, and you see people walking across there, and I was one of those people, trying to get into the game, trying to get a glimpse of the coach on the bus, the players on the bus. They didn't have the hog walk back then, but, just trying to get in the stadium and feel the atmosphere. I feel that every single home game, very surreal, very honoring. I'm honored that I'm the head coach at Arkansas, but yeah, I mean, I feel it all the time. I was a fan. I went to camp. Went to football camp there, and Lou Holtz was a coach. And
Did you get rejected too?
Well,
I got rejected.
I'm glad you said the two, because that kind of makes me feel.
Yeah, I got rejected. I went to Penn State's camp.
I got recruited, none. So I don't know if it ever got to the rejection part.
Yeah, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, Coach,
No,
but
I was
yeah.
done.
I grew up just outside of Philadelphia, so it's unusual, a lot of times that you have the opportunity to be able to come back home. I played in the state of Pennsylvania. I did go to camp. I think Jim Caldwell was the quarterback's coach at the time. They had a drill, Coach Pittman, where you threw fades, and they had like a little target sitting in the end zone, and I won that drill.
That's
and I
awesome.
thought for sure Coach Caldwell was going to come over and talk to me about why I should be at Penn State, and he never came
Went
over.
right by you.
But yeah, it's something obviously that you take a lot of pride in. Obviously you understand the history, you understand the tradition. I think we're also both at places, that really emphasize the true student athlete and getting a great education at a great university. So there's so many reasons that I think, for us that it's important, and college football is really important, and being able to win games is really important, but at Penn State it's also about, getting a great education and having a well-rounded experience and being prepared and ready for life when that comes, when the game of football comes to an end. So I think all those things allow for me, obviously being a local guy, having pretty good perspective on what it truly means to be a Penn Stater.
Right down here.
Each of you coaches have lost a significant piece of your offense, a premier playmaker at wide receiver. Could you each reflect on what that player meant to your what it's been like adjusting your offensive plan without that.
Well, Burks was, I mean, you know, he's from the state. You know, he was our go-to guy. He was our big play guy. Anytime we got zero coverage or man coverage, everybody in the place knew we was going to throw him the ball. And he was, you know, a lot of times he'd go make the play, and a lot of times he'd score on it. I understand his situation and things of that nature, but losing him, we lost a lot of offense. And we also lost a very good leader. But can we replace him? You know, it's going to take it's going to take a lot of people to replace one Burks. But the great thing about that is we knew before we ever started bowl practice that he was not going to play in the bowl. And so that's allowed us these, 4 weeks in and out of 4 different type of weeks to plan and prepare for that. And the guys, like Coach said, our guys, the ones that are getting ready to play, are looking forward to the opportunity. And they're young, but yet we've recruited them for a reason, and hopefully they can make plays like Burks did.
Yeah, for us, kind of a similar story, right? Johann Dotson from the state of Pennsylvania, decided to stay home after being committed to another school, and it worked out really well for Johann Dotson, and it worked out really well for Penn State, and I could not be more proud. Johann had an opportunity last year to leave and decided to come back, and I think it really helped him. All the draft reports that we've gotten, I think it's really helped him, and it's helped Penn State. And that's really what life is about, right? Mm-hmm. Trying to create as many win-win situations as you can. And we were able to do that. But, just like Coach talked about losing Johann, everybody knows he was our big play guy, and has been for the last couple of years. Last year as a punt returner and receiver, this year mainly as a receiver. But it's an opportunity for Keandre, it's an opportunity for Parker, it's an opportunity for CSB and Mega and those guys to step up. And then back to the guys that Coach was talking about earlier, the tight end group. And I think both of us, our answer is probably similar. It's not like there's going to be one guy that's going to step up and replace that production. It needs to be a little bit, of all the guys. And for us, I could say the same thing. I had a conversation with our defensive staff and our defensive players about losing our defensive coordinator. And Coach Pry, it's going to be the same type of approach. So, it's a tremendous opportunity.
Right down here on the aisle.
Coach, with some of the bowl games being canceled and also some cases at the last minute because of COVID, does that frame your opinion or message to kids in any different way? Maybe emphasizing precautions, maybe talking to each other, figuring out a contingency plan. Like, how has that informed how you guys are processing this?
I'll take, if he asks another question.
Again, I have opinions on other places and other things and some of the things that I think are going on, and I know Coach does as well, and we've talked about those privately, but in this setting, I'm going to specifically talk about Penn State. We're just going to do everything we possibly can, like we have all year long, to keep our guys safe. I do think we're at a point of the season where they're kind of sick of listening to me. Mm-hmm. We've been pounding these messages home all year long, and overall, our doctors and our trainers and our players have done a tremendous job with that. And we're going to need to do that, not just up till game time, because this isn't just about protecting college football. It's also about these guys making great choices so they can be safe and healthy throughout the rest of the year and their lives. So, with the game of football, there come sacrifices. With your health, there are sacrifices that have to be made, and there's lessons in all of this, right?
I think you don't really have to, the kids see it. They see this bowl's opted out, this bowl opted out, and so there's not a lot you have to say other than, what we're doing, wearing our masks in the building and all that kind. We've gotten to this far without losing guys to COVID and this, that, and other. I know there's a new variants and all that right now, but I think anytime you have a coaching staff and a team that wants to play the game, and it's not always that way, but it makes it easier to get the game going. And I think Penn State wants to play, and think we want to play, so.
Right down here in front.
For James, on the defensive side of the ball, do you guys have a sense, like Coach Pittman said early on, which guys were going to eventually, move on to the NFL and decide not to play in the bowl game? And if so, kind of did that help you sort of prepare for the season?
Yeah, I think as you guys can imagine, some of the announcements are coming out are new to you guys, but they're not new to us. We had a pretty good understanding. What I try to do is at the end of the year, I sit down with all these guys and have conversations, and sometimes their parents are included in those conversations. And like I said, for 12 years, we've never had one. And that doesn't mean for 12 years there hasn't been guys that have been advised not to play, and there hasn't been guys that have considered it. But literally for 12 years, we've never had one. So this is new information for you guys. It's not new for us. We've been planning and prepared for this for a while. There's really none of these announcements are new to us.
Right back here.
James, you talked to Owen yesterday about possibly making the transition to Sam linebacker. Obviously, you guys are a little depleted in that room. Is that something you see for him this game and beyond? And how is he kind of making that transition?
Yeah, he's already done that, this year. He's already played, that position. I think that was part of him coming back. He's going to come back next year and use his extra year. I think he realizes, as well as we do, although he's got some safety skills and DB skills, he plays his best the closer he is to the football. I think that's his long-term future. So it made sense for him to come back, fill one of those roles and be able to put, a whole season of tape together of showing probably, what his role and identity will be at the next level. So, obviously he's been a great special teams player for us. But yeah, playing that, what we call the field backer or the Sam linebacker, I think that's his future, and he'll play that on Saturday.
In the back here.
Coaches, you guys have goals, you're going to push gardens later, and there's a beach trip. At this point in your careers, how are you balancing the fun of a bowl game with coaching and trying to get your guys play?
Well, I have no experience at it, so it's pretty balanced to me. I mean, he's been a gazillion of them. As a head coach, we're practicing in the morning, and we're telling the guy, your day has objectives in it, and it has things that you need to get accomplished. And practice is first and foremost, and we're doing it early in meetings, and then, the rest of the day they can go out on their own and do. As long as they can plan their day, and I want it to have success the whole day. I think the fun and the practice and the meetings and all that can be put together. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's good that we're starting practice in the morning, because that way they have to be in a little better shape coming home, get an earlier curfew and things of that nature.
Right here in the back.
Yeah.
Sam, the SEC has not done well yet in the bowl. Does that lend us even more pizzazz for this bowl game?
I wish the answer was yes, but each of those schools got their own team, their own, going to NFL. A lot of times in the SEC and then the Big Ten and things of that nature, you're going to have really good players. And by the time, until we get to more teams in the playoffs, like I said before, you're going to play a different team. It's going to have the same logo on there, but it's not the same team that you had during the regular season. And I think that's a little bit what's happened to the SEC. Maybe not. Maybe they just got beat. I know I'll catch a lot of heck for saying that from the teams that beat the SEC teams. But for me, it's about, preparing our team well enough to go out there and play as good as we possibly can. Hadn't thought much about the SEC not being 0-4.
All right, couple more questions here, right here in the black.
Sam, you got Tyson Morris back today. What does his addition bring again, as we talked about wide receivers stepping up? And for a kid from Fayetteville, has been
Yeah.
with this team. So important for him to be here.
Well, we needed him back. His legs look fresher than the other guys today. You know, he hadn't practiced for a few days, but,
He look good?
well, I tell you, I'd leave him wide open. He dropped a couple. But you're right. He's from